Summertime. It's the perfect time of year for getting together with friends, enjoying a day on the water or at the park with the family, a lazy day on the porch, al fresco dining, and your favorite glass of wine. Oh my gosh, do I have the right wines for summer? Here we're going to take the guesswork out of which wines would be perfect to purchase. I'm not going to show any specific wines. We'll look at different varietals you want to be purchasing. These will be varietals that pair well for the heat of the season and the foods of the season. All the wine experts and gurus tell you which specific wines to purchase for the summer. That's great, but what if you can't afford it? Or if it's too cheap? Or you can't even find it? While I personally enjoy phenomenal wines under $15, I don't want to superimpose my financial expectations on you. At the end of the day, most of the gurus just waste your time giving you specific wines because they want you to purchase it from them. Now, while I would like you to purchase my wine, the reality is it's not about me, it's about you. But I have to say, I believe you'll find my prices better, and also I have a much wider selection than either your wine shop or your grocery store. Anyway, the wines that I'm suggesting won't fight the heat, and they won't fight the typical summertime foods. Now keep in mind, at any time, if you find the information helpful, click like, subscribe, and hit the little bell to be notified when I have a new post. You ready? Here we go. Number 1, Frappato, or some call it Frappato. This is a tough one to find. You're probably not going to find it in your local supermarket or big box store. This is one that none of your friends will have, and if it sounds interesting to you, check my website, which is linked in the description below. Perhaps this is the lightest red wine that can still be considered a red as opposed to a rosé. Frappato is a Sicilian grape, that's in Italy, and exhibits the color of wildflowers and even picks up some of the taste of those flavors. As you can see, it has a little minerality to it for a nice backbone. You can see a little information about the tannins, its body, and its flavor profile. Frappato is about as refreshing as a red wine can get. This works extremely well when served slightly chilled. As you can see, with food, it's extremely light, versatile wine. It can stand on its own, and it's truly a summer porch pounder or while hanging out on the beach. Number 2 is a favorite of many, Pinot Noir. Grown throughout the world, look first to the Burgundy region of France, then on to Oregon and California. Pinots feature the juicy complexity without the gigantic tannins or big bodies like Cabs and many of the other big reds. Its light, pleasant mouthfeel makes it ideal as an early start to any meal, and it appeals heavily to red wine lovers who are attempting to keep things a little on the lighter side. Now, as you can see, with food, Pinots are very versatile. Number 3, Zweigelt. While you may not have heard it, Zweigelt is the most popular red grape in Austria. This is another one that you're not going to find just anywhere. It has an incredible explosion of both sweet and sour notes to it. It's bright and fruity. These wines have a little bit of sparkle or carbonation to them, which is called fizzante. It's similar to the Pinot Noir with an added light, sort of spicy note. This light red wine pairs well with just about everything at a picnic. I love it with salty meats like grilled sausages. Number 4 is Lambrusco. Lambrusco is primarily an Italian wine. This is another one that's a little tough to find, but it's a fun summertime wine. Like the Zweigelt, this has some fun fizz to it. The bubbles really refresh your palate. Whether you're going to my site or a wine shop, make sure you're asking for the dry version of this. It will say Seco or dry on the bottle. It comes from sweet to dry, but the Seco is the dry and goes with many more dishes. You may want to serve it very cold. Number 5 is Beaujolais. These come from the center of France. They're a popular summer wine made from the Gamay grape. It's got great flavor and body, and as you can see, Beaujolais can pair well with practically any protein from barbecue beef to various types of seafood. Actually, the pricier Beaujolais have more tannin than what you're looking for a hot summer day. Get outside and enjoy the summer sunshine with this one. Is this information helpful? If it is, let me know about it, or just write top reds in the comments below. Number 6, Barbera. I didn't have my first Barbera until about 2002. You can find it from many places around the world. However, Italy is my default country. This is one of the best summer wines for the evening and is extremely drinkable. As you can see, it's unique. Barbera is the wine that many winemakers throughout Italy drink rather than export. This is the grape which typically is reserved for the fantastic Barolo and Nebbiolo wines. Barbera is relatively affordable compared to most of the reds, and it's perfect alongside burgers or a slice of pizza or maybe two. Number 7 is Grenache. Now bear with me a minute because this one has some layers to it. Grenache is known as Garnacha in Spain. Here you can see a little bit about its body and profile and its pairings, but the Spanish native grape is actually more known for the wines it produces in the southern Rhone River Valley of France, which is Châteauneuf-du-Pape, and that being the most famous of the wines with Grenache in it. Châteauneuf is made with the Grenache grape along with a couple of others and tends to be a little bit bigger wine, but the simple Côtes du Rhône from the same area are made from the same grapes and are a perfect summer wine for a quarter of the price. Now the Garnacha wines from Spain are the best bang for your buck from this particular grape. Whether it's Garnacha from Spain, Grenache from France, Châteauneuf-du-Pape, or Côtes du Rhône, each of the 4 variations and blends of this wine can be enjoyed on their own or with most outdoor grilled foods, roasted meats, and spiced veggies. Number 8, Sangiovese. This is the primary grape from Chianti region of Tuscany, Italy. Honestly, of all the wines I'm listing in this video, I think Chianti wines are the wines you should be looking for first. Go to my website and filter by Sangiovese. Check out the profile and pairings also. With this wine, your cookout will be an absolute success. Number 9, Tempranillo. 2 words you're looking for on the bottle: Crianza and Rioja. Perfect choice for patio or deck. Great as a cocktail wine with its juicy red fruit profile. There's enough structure to this to stand up to most any item coming off the grill. Like Sangiovese from Tuscany, there are endless wines made from the Tempranillo grapes from Spain. Number 10, Blaufränkisch. I love to say that word, Blaufränkisch. This is from Austria and is truly unique, but not that easy a wine to find. Of course, I have several of these on my site. When you find it, support that supplier. This is a wonderful wine. I see this paired with summer barbecue all day long. You can find Blaufränkisch at varying prices. Some may run upwards about $40 and others are more wallet friendly. This next one will be super quick. Number 11, Montepulciano. I love to say that word too, Montepulciano. Actually, that's the way the Italians say it. This is another medium-bodied Italian wine with medium-high tannins. It's great with beef brisket, pizza, and a whole host of casual summertime food. Now here are several general rules of thumb for whites that will maximize your tasting pleasure. You want to look for white wines that have some of these qualities: high acidity, light to medium body, and a dry taste. Acidity is the characteristic in wine that makes your mouth water and prepares your mouth for food. With each wine, I'll give you the idea of its acidity. This can get pretty technical, so I'm going to make it pretty simple and categorize each varietal as high, medium, or low acidity. Oh, by the way, I'm not rating these wines from best to worst, but from lightest to heaviest body. You ready? Here we go. Number 10, Riesling. This is one of the most interesting white wines available. Although often sweet and viscous, dry Rieslings can be found from producers in both Germany and in the US, particularly in Washington State. Frequently, it has intense aromas and flavors and is lower in alcohol. Here's some of what you can expect. Because it's made anywhere from sweet to dry, Riesling is one of the most food-friendly wines you can find during the summer. It pairs well with a variety of foods. You'll spend $1 or $2 more per bottle the drier you get. Number 9 is Moscato. Not everybody enjoys a bone-dry white wine, and for those who are looking for something on the sweeter end of the spectrum, check out Moscato. Italian Moscatos usually have some fun bubbles in it. Typically you'll find a cheaper, lower quality Moscato in your local supermarket. They tend to be pretty sweet. The sweeter they are, check to make sure that the acidity is higher. Here you see a list of foods you can pair with Moscato. You need to remember Asian foods. Number 8, Albarino. Spain's quintessential white wine, and you won't find oak in it. As you can see, it has the acidity we're looking for. It's incredibly refreshing, and unlike many white wines, you can age this. That means you can buy this by the case if you want to. Get your discounts, lay it down, it'll still be beautiful 3 or 4 years from now. Number 7, Pinot Grigio or Pinot Gris. These are basically the same wines, but from different parts of the world. It deserves a spot on the table year-round, but it's born for drinking during the summer months. The flavors are much more subtle than many wines. You can see that with foods, it is incredibly versatile. There are few wines that rival Pinot Grigio when it comes to pairing with seafood. Here's a crazy one, number 6, Chenin Blanc. This grape originated in France, but the world's biggest producer is South Africa. In South Africa, it's known as Steen. It's also being produced in both the US and Argentina. No matter what country it comes from, you'll thoroughly enjoy this wine. As you can see, its primary taste is passion fruit, peach, and pears, along with some apple. It's primarily made dry, but you can also find it in both off-dry and sweet. Sometimes you find it aged in oak, and when you do, you can see how it changes the taste profile just a little. As far as what to pair it with, as you see, summertime meats and salads, fish and veggies, cheese and charcuterie can be a perfect match. By the way, how are you doing there? Is this information helpful? If it is, write 10 whites in the comments below. Number 5 is Vino Verde. This one is so incredibly interesting because while it says Vino Verde on the bottle, Vino Verde is not the grape, it's the region. It's a region in Portugal, and it's a blend of 6 different grapes. Also, it has a little bit of a spritz to it. Not quite a Fizzante, but it still has a little spritz in most of the Vino Verdes, and it usually is pretty low in alcohol, around 11.5%. And Vino Verdes are usually a bargain, which means it's a definite porch pounder. Number 4 is Sauvignon Blanc. This varietal has exploded in popularity over the last several years and is one of the best summertime white wines. There's a wide variety of flavors which is determined by where it grows and where it's made. You can see all the flavors here, both with and without oak. To simplify this, there are two basic profiles. The Australia and New Zealand profile, which is big citrus, and the French profile, where the citrus is much more subtle and refined. That particular wine goes better with more foods. Oh, and sometimes in the US, you'll see it called Fumé Blanc. Number 3 is Gewurztraminer. First of all, I love saying Gewurztraminer. Gewurztraminer. If you haven't had this, you really need to add this to your summer list of white wines. It's one of only 18 noble grapes in the world. It's usually a very good value and pairs perfectly with Indian and Middle East foods. While this tastes somewhat sweet, the basic profile is grapefruit, lychee nut, and pineapple. And as you can see here, there's a whole lot more, a whole heck of a lot more. Number 2 is white blends. Blended wine is when we use more than one grape varietal to make your wine. Blending different grape enables the winemaker to make a more complex and interesting wine. One varietal may be a little weak in one area, like body or acidity, while another or several other grapes can strengthen that weakness. When winemakers do this, you can end up with some out-of-this-world flavors, textures, and aromas. Here again is an example of where diversity creates something phenomenal. In the past, blending did not have good results, but today we have phenomenal blends in virtually every economic category. Historically, France has been the leader in blending wine, so for better blends, I would start with France. Because of the great quality and the fact that people are getting tired of the traditional Chardonnay and Sauvignon Blanc, California and other areas of the world are beginning to follow France's lead. As far as the taste profile, acidity, and body are concerned, blends run the entire gamut. My suggestion is you not get the cheap stuff. You know, the stuff that has body parts or a critter on the bottle. These can turn you off pretty quickly to blends. You know, this summer, have some fun with blends and experiment. To me, blended white wine means warm summer evenings on the patio, linen shirts or gauzy blouses, enjoying an evening with great friends, good food, and a nice glass of wine. Number 1, the biggest body for our top wines, particularly when aged in oak, is Chardonnay. Chardonnay has a very wide array of different tastes, depending on where it's grown and how it's made. But typically, Chardonnay is a dry, medium to full body wine with moderate acidity and alcohol. Its flavors range from apple and lemon to papaya and pineapple, and it also shows notes of vanilla when it's aged in oak. Now, before I get to our bonus, I do have a couple of honorable mentions. Champagne and sparkling wines. I've lumped these all together, including cavas from Spain and Proseccos from Italy. I'm suggesting you stay on the dry side, which is called Brut. I think you'll be surprised at how broad the food pairing options are. You'll see on the list there are quite a number of things these go with, but my favorite is fried chicken and French fries. The bubbles are festive, and let's be honest, we've been through a pretty horrendous time with COVID, so I'll be raising my fair share of sparkling wines this summer. Well, there you have it, our phenomenal white wines. Hang in there for the quick bonus at the end, but first, thanks so much for investing the time to watch this video. If you got something out of it, let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and the little bell to be notified when I post other videos. And please share this video if it was helpful to you. I'd appreciate it. All right, are you ready for the bonus? We've got rosé. Rosés are made the same way as normal red and white wines, except for the cheap stuff. The way the cheap stuff has been made is they take the basic white wine and add either a little bit of red wine or red food coloring to the white wine. This type of rosé is lousy and has given rosé a bad name. A real rosé tends to have crisp acidity, is blush pink in color, and has an exceptionally light body. As far as summer wines go, it's difficult to beat the refreshing qualities of a modestly priced, well-crafted rosé. However, there are a few things you should keep in mind. First, while many other wines can get better with age, rosés should be consumed a year or two after production. So pay attention to the age on the bottle. Second, fruity does not always mean sweet. Many rosés are fruity and dry. The dryness brings much needed crispness to the wine. A couple of rosés to look out for are Provence rosés. These are from Provence, France, which is where rosés all started. Sparkling rosés, which is what I have over here. Sangiovese rosés from Italy. They're more copper in color, but have vibrant notes of melon, peach, and rose petals. Perfect for a Mediterranean meal on the patio. Grenache rosés, Pinot Noir rosés. These have delicate flavors and are a bit more on the darker pink side. Perfect for barbecue. Well, there you have it. Folks, as with all of our wines, it's important to note we have a limited supply and they may not be available in all states. If you'd like any of these varietals, click the link below and check out the individual wines in the price category that suits you. Again, thanks for joining me. Hey Posse, thanks so much for investing the time to watch this video. I trust it was helpful to you. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. And please consider hitting subscribe. Also, click here to check out our new online shop. We have a great lineup of wine-related items that will help you get the most out of your wine experience. Oh, and be sure to check out these other videos. Until next time, cheers.